Hey YouTube, it's me, AthenaTV,
and welcome back to another video. In recent years, digital art has grown exponentially and more artists start switching from traditional to digital. I know a lot of my friends and followers are new to drawing digitally, and they don't know where or how to start. And since I'm an art channel, I thought it would be useful for me as an intermediate artist who's drawn digital for a couple years to guide you through the process of starting this new medium. So to start, you'll need something to draw on. Now this can be any device where you can download or install art programs. Plenty of artists draw on their tablets/iPads and computers. Some artists are even able to draw on their phones. Now you might say, I want one of those drawing screens professionals draw on. Well, those are called drawing tablets. These devices are plugged into computers so you can draw on the screen directly. There's two different types of drawing tablets, the regular ones and the screen drawing tablets. The regular ones are surfaces where you can draw on, while the ones with a screen you can draw on directly and see where you're drawing. If you're a complete beginner to drawing and don't want to spend a lot of money, you can get a small screenless tablet from brands like Huion, Wacom, XP Pen, and Gaomon for around $20 to $40. Some of the cheapest screen tablets cost $200 to $300, and the bigger and better the quality it gets, the more expensive it is. If it's your first time buying a screen tablet upgrade from a non-screen tablet, I suggest you getting a Huion or XP Pen tablet like the tablet that I use, the XP Pen Artist 12, costing around $279 at the time I'm writing the script, but I bought it for maybe $200 to $250 at a sale price, which luckily these companies do frequently, so look out for those. These drawing tablets have to be plugged into a computer and cannot work without it. Please, before buying any expensive tablet, do buy the cheapest option, because if you choose that digital art is not your thing, you will waste your money. You'll need an art program that you can use for drawing. If you're using iPads/tablets or phones, some great apps which are free are IBS Paint, Metabang Paint, Autodesk Sketchbook, and My Paint. Some apps which are paid for are Clip Studio Paint and Procreate. Clip Studio Paint on handheld devices is a subscription, while Procreate is $10 to keep forever, and it constantly gets new updates, which makes the app great. If you're drawing on a computer, some programs for free are Krita, Fire Alpaca, and Autodesk Sketchbook. Clip Studio Paint is also available, but this time it's a one-time payment for either the EX or Pro version. Again, it has many sales, so you could easily get it for 50% off at a Black Friday sale. Photoshop and Paint Tool SAI are also some fan-favorite paid programs. With all that out of the way, it's time to start drawing. Before you start any proper drawings, take this time to explore and play around with its brushes and settings. Just start testing different brushes and take the time to familiarize yourself with the program. Some common icons are brushes, paint tool bucket, eraser, lasso tool, and layers. Your program might have more icons for different things, and I suggest you testing all of it. Now that you're familiar with the program, it's time to start drawing. When you start, you won't be the best at it immediately, so keep your expectations pretty low. With every new medium, there's going to be a learning curve, and digital art has probably one of the biggest ones. It has many tools and is very helpful, but if used incorrectly, it can make your pieces look very off. I can't really explain how to get rid of the learning curve. All I can say is don't be afraid to make it messy and experiment. Do different styles, different ways of coloring or shading, do painting instead of line art, or try different layer modes like multiply or saturation. All of this will help you decide what you want to do in digital art. I'll show you some of mine and my friends' first digital drawings to give you an example of how we started, and I'll be painting over/redrawing over some of the pieces and give you some tips on what to do and what not to do. Next part is going to be unscripted, so I'll keep the rambling to a minimum. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover, so some things might not exactly sync up well. I have an old drawing from my friend here that I'll be using as an example. First things first, let's review some beginner traits that are usually included in these pieces. Some beginners start out with really thick line art. And this piece is less noticeable and actually a bit more advanced because my friend uses line weight and line variations. It still uses more thick lines than thin. With some of my old drawings, you can clearly see the thick no pen pressure line art, which is usually common in beginner pieces. Another thing that is common is that a lot of people use the airbrush and soft edges for shading, which is fine, but sometimes it's just too soft that it doesn't even seem like there is shading, and it becomes messy and muddy. I have a sketch and base colors ready. Color drops straight from the drawing. Our first change is to improve this color palette. This is a fairly bright color palette, which there is nothing wrong with that, but it's a little harsh on the eyes, so I'm going to change it to be more muted so the colors go better together. Another thing with colors is that my friends just used a darker version of the base colors to shade with. Now I used to do the same thing with my drawings, as you can see here. A lot of digital artists are overwhelmed that they have every color from the color wheel, and they move the base colors down, which just makes the colors more unsaturated and creates an unappealing color palette. It just kind of looks dead. What we want to do is to move the color diagonally to the right and move the wheel closer to purple. This will get you a more vibrant shading color for your drawings. Now to add soft shading to your drawings while still containing our hard edges, I use the lasso tool to select areas where I want to shade and use the airbrush to lay down my base shade colors. It's usually better to have a light source so you know where to shade, but I just did regular shading such as under the face, under the hair, near the face, near the end of the neck, nose, etc. Now depending on your style, whether it be cell shading or more of a painterly style, this part of the process is vastly different from person to person. I prefer a more painterly style, so I use a rectangular textured brush to paint and shade this whole piece. There's no certain way to shade, but I can say you can add great lighting with just a couple of multiply and add layers. And also follow me on my Insta, and that's all for today. If you've made it all the way to the end, why not subscribe while you're here? Some of my other accounts shown on screen now. I post drawings pretty often, I make videos about art, animation memes, animatics, and really anything art related. If you're interested in my work and want to commission me, just DM me on my Instagram and my prices are in my highlights. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Bye!